and welcome back to the Truly Kenya podcast. If you are watching on YouTube, means you're probably a visual person, or listening to us on your favorite podcast platform. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for being so supportive and going on this ride with me. Today we're having a conversation with DeDee Pfeiffer. She was a star of Big Sky for 3 seasons. She is also what is it?
I'm recovering out loud.
Recovering out. I had never heard this term. She's recovering out loud, which means she is really willing to talk to us about any part of her sobriety and her journey, correct?
Yes, with addiction.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now she's also Michelle Pfeiffer's sister, but more than that, she has all this other these other parts of her, and I'm gonna read them because I don't want to screw it up because I didn't make it as far as she did in school. So now DeDee left acting to raise her kids. She left acting for 10 years. You raised children.
Mm-hmm.
You got your bachelor's of psychology, your master's of social work with a concentration in mental health and homelessness.
Mm-hmm.
You did all that. How did you get back to why, after doing all that, what was the offer that made you say, I'm going to go back to acting?
Oh, well.
I mean, because you did a lot in that 10
simple.
years.
I got a text one day while I was doing my first year UCLA internship at the Department of Mental Health. I got a text from my brother-in-law, David E. Kelly. And of course, we know I love him. He loves me. We're family.
Yes,
We always spend family, but he's never called me or texted me. I mean, we're just like that. I said, what the hell? What David text? Hey, Dee, are you still acting? I have a great role for you on Big Sky. Let me know. And I almost dropped my phone.
Yes.
And I was like, what? Oh my God, this is it. I was looking for the missing piece on how I was going to join my years of acting before and my, I guess you call it celebrityness. I don't know what, my followers and people who still always followed me.
Yeah.
And then my education. And I also took 3 years at UCLA to get a 2-year master's because I took a year off to get my ass sober.
Yeah.
My addiction finally bit me in the ass and I hit my bottom.
How long did you struggle with addiction?
Well, DNA. My father taught me exactly how to be a high-functioning alcoholic.
Okay.
Alcoholism and addiction runs in my family on both sides, my mom and dad's side.
Okay.
And then there's mental health issues with my mom as well.
Okay.
So my mom had shock treatments in the late 50s.
Are those legal?
Back then they just zap you until you just didn't feel what you were feeling anymore. And which is sad because I actually did a college paper on it.
Oh, wow.
I truly believe my mom had postpartum because she couldn't stop crying. But back then they didn't know what that was. So they just kept zapping you until she stopped crying, basically.
Yeah.
So that was the mom who, gave birth to me.
Yes. Yeah.
And my younger sister.
Yeah.
So anyways, let's back up a little bit. What happened was I was acting, a single mom, 2 boys.
Yes.
I'm 59. So if you do the math, I started when I was 82 in 82.
Okay.
82. Yeah. Okay. No phones, no computers.
Yes.
And we would have to go pick up the script at your agency. And it was a hard copy, And so I started back then. And then I had my kids.
So are you struggling with addiction at that point?
Yes, because addiction is whack-a-mole.
Okay.
It's whack-a-mole. So when I was younger, it would be for sure food addiction for sure.
Okay.
And then love addiction. I just, when I fell in love with you, I really loved you.
Okay.
And then food addiction, love addiction. I never did the shopping because I never had any money. And when I would drink it, I always had a very odd reaction to it. Just one of those where you're like, wow, she can't hold her alcohol.
Okay.
Because one would say that I was allergic.
Okay.
That's certainly, the 12 steps would say that, the biology behind it. But I also was very high functioning. I never drank during work or anything or audition. And no. Or when I was pregnant.
Yes.
So there's this falsehood. Well, I mean, I can be pregnant and not drink, so I must not be an alcoholic. I don't have a problem. I can go to work and not drink.
I was going to say, you can go to work.
Oh, yeah. I went to school. I didn't get drunk. But that does not mean that I didn't have a problem with alcohol. That was affecting me in a negative way.
Yes.
That's really what that is.
Yes.
When an addiction is when you're using something, gambling, sex, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Drugs, of course. to a point where it's affecting your life in a negative way, and you keep trying to stop, and you just kind of can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
That's when you're like, okay, this to me sounds more than just a phase.
Yes. Was your addiction caused by trauma, or is just something that happened? Do you know
Well,
what I mean? Like, it's
yeah.
all addiction. I guess it's a question. Is all addiction somehow related to some form of trauma in a person?
It's a great question, because actually what happens is people don't understand trauma's over here and
Okay.
addiction's over here.
Uh-huh.
They're actually separate ways to assess and treatment. And what
okay.
happens is, if you have both, which
Yeah.
I got to tell you, addiction and trauma, they love to tango. They love to dance. They're like peanut butter and jelly. They love each other. Generally speaking, you have undiagnosed, unassessed trauma.
Yeah.
And if you have an addiction as well, now you
Yes.
got, now you have them both. So if the person who's the clinician isn't assessing for both, they're going to miss that, and they're going to treat the addiction, and you're just going to keep relapsing because you didn't also deal with that underlying trauma. So because they are different, because you can have one without the other as well. I certainly had trauma. Oh yeah, I didn't realize I had trauma that went way back as a little girl, because everybody experiences trauma different.
Yeah.
You have two soldiers go to the same war. One comes back
Right.
with PTSD, and the other one doesn't.
Right. Right.
Right. There you
Right.
go. So,
Right.
for me, I'm a big advocate for making sure that the person is being assessed individually and teased out. And if you're not someone who knows addiction or
Right.
trauma, it's best to do like a wraparound
Okay.
therapy where you have someone who can
Oh.
specialize in both.
In both.
I was lucky because my
Yeah.
my one at the rehab, she did both. She was a specialist in trauma and addiction.
So I don't mean to be jumping around, but since we're talking about the sobriety, what was you always hear about there's a bottom.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that true? Okay.
Oh yeah.
So what was your like, if you are functioning, what
Yeah.
makes you think you need help? Do you know what I mean? Like, what was your bottom? And you're like, I may need some help.
Well, even though you're high functioning,
Yeah.
people around you know. They know.
Mm.
And you think you're hiding. You think you're hiding, and you're not. My
Mm.
children knew, my family knew, my
Mm.
friends knew. And I knew deep down inside that I had a problem. I couldn't stop. And I kept thinking, what the hell's wrong with me? Why can't I just stop?
Right.
Something must be terribly wrong with me. And it's because this is why I'm recovering out loud. All this internal conversations
Yeah.
is just toxic and old shit. Like, we have to understand it's a disease. Addiction is a disease. It's not a choice. Period. So when one has a disease, I would hope one goes seek help.
Right.
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 But we still have a lot of social stigma around addiction.
Yes.
Like, why can't she just stop? She lost everything. Or
Right.
why can't he stop? He's in the
Right.
gutter. It's like, well, because he hasn't hit, or she,
Right.
or they, their bottom.
Yes.
Everyone's bottom is so different than, say, your bottom might be
Yes.
different. I know your bottom would be different than my bottom.
Right.
So one day, it was after my first of 2 years at my master's program. And it was just, well, okay, let me back up. My real answer is, which bottom? I hit many bottoms. Every time I would drink too much
Yeah.
and made an ass of myself, or embarrassed my family or my children,
Yeah.
or myself, or didn't remember the next morning.
Yeah.
And people could say, well, it's like they say shit like, well, if I was Michelle Pfeiffer's sister, I'd drink too much too.
Yeah.
I mean, she's beautiful. And I go, that doesn't even make any sense.
But you look just like her.
But
So
it's
that
like,
means you're
but
beautiful
they say
too.
shit like that, or if I had this happen, I would
Yes.
drink too.
Yeah.
There's also that
Yeah.
old thinking. It's like,
Yes.
no, that's also not helpful.
Yes. Yes.
So there was a lot of that around me, I think. So, and I also
Are you
played-
guys close? You
Oh
and
yeah,
Michelle?
my sisters and I and my brother were very close. The four of
Okay.
us. There's Rick, Michelle, me, and Lori.
Okay.
We're
And
very
you all
close.
are close. Okay. So that
Yeah.
had nothing to do with that. Okay.
No, we're very close.
Okay.
I never felt like I fit in, but I never felt like I fit in anywhere. And if you go to sit in any recovery group, you'll hear that 99.9% of everybody in recovery will say, I never felt like I fit in. And that's just another
Yes.
thing to add on
Yes.
top of the trauma, on top of the
Yes.
addiction and all that, right?
Yes. Oh.
So I hit way too many bottoms. I was
Yes.
exhausted from just feeling like a piece of shit and a loser, that I couldn't fix this.
Right.
And all of a sudden on TV, it said like 1-800-ANONYMOUS. You can
Yes.
call anonymously and we can help you with
Yeah.
recovery. And now remember, I came from a generation that if you couldn't fix it, you were weak.
Oh,
I was
yes,
born in
yes.
1964.
Okay.
My dad was a good old farm boy.
Mhm.
And when you got knocked around, you got back up and you went. And that was strong.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
Crying was weak.
Mhm.
So it was really hard to ask for help because I just didn't come from a generation like the generation now that says it's actually such a strong thing to do. It's not weak to ask for help.
Courageous.
It's courageous. Yeah.
Right.
And I started looking at that and I wrote it down. I wrote it down next to my bed. And I thought, okay, all you got to do is call and just don't tell him you're DeDee Pfeiffer. Just tell him that, you know, you're Jill.
Right.
Jill Green's my favorite, you know.
Green's your favorite.
Yeah. You know, I often my AKA is Hank,
Yes.
Hank Green. It's like, she's
funny.
Hank? Yeah, go with it. And then out of nowhere, and some would say, I'm going to say it's Mother Earth taking really good care of me. That's my higher power is Mother Earth. She somehow made it so my sister came up to me and said, hey, we'd like to do an intervention with you. It's on Tuesday. On Thursday, we'd like you to show up.
Oh, so she told you ahead of time, so you weren't like, they didn't try to shock you with it.
That's what they do. Yeah, the intervention show is much different than the way breathe.
Okay, so in real life. Okay.
That's well, because the first thing I said was, oh my God, you're not going to show up with that car. And then you're all going to write letters to me. Funny. And she's like, oh my God, no.
Yes.
And she goes, this is life breathing, breathe Life Healing Center.
Okay.
And Kathleen Murphy, who saved my life, runs it. And
so proud of
where'd
you.
that come from? I said
it came from you sharing your story.
Yeah,
you're going to help somebody.
Because I just said to my sister, you don't need to do an intervention. I'll go. Just take care of my kids and my animals. And she's like, oh, and she was like, oh, well, wait a minute. That's not what I was expecting to hear.
I was expecting
to hear, fuck you.
Yeah.
What about you and your problems? Because that's what you do. Your addict comes out.
Yes.
You know, my addict was just
ready
in the ground, just plummeted. I had hit my bottom and I said, I'll go. 2 days later, I was in 30-day intensive inpatient and I didn't talk to anybody. I did talk to my boys on the phone.
Yeah.
No.
Did you want to quit?
Yeah, the first day I was like, what happened to me? What happened that I'm here?
Yeah.
It was very humbling.
Yeah.
And scary. I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be the most beautiful thing I've ever experienced. And when I sat there in the room at first and they were like, hi, you know, I'm Joe, Jill, whatever their names are. And I was like, yeah, I'm DeDee. And no one recognized me because they're healing. They don't give a shit who you are.
Right, right.
They're all just trying to save our lives. But I looked in that room and all of a sudden they just started telling their stories. And I realized, oh my God, I'd found my people. I felt like I finally fit in.
Really?
Yeah, because they were me, just different stories.
Yeah. Their
life stories were like, oh my God, I understand you. I don't know who you are, but I understand you. And then I would talk and they go, oh, girl, don't even get me started. And all of a sudden, you know, I was like in love with these people from 18 up to 80.
Yeah.
Some of these people are frequent flyers, relapsing.
Yes.
That's
what they call it?
Yeah. Okay. When you're not getting the right treatment, that can be an issue. The relapse thing is often, there's a lot of reason why you relapse. It's part of some people's journey. Okay. I'm very fortunate that I'm almost 5 years and I haven't.
Wow.
But it was the most life-changing experience. And I highly recommend if somebody, listen, I'm a hard head. You know, I'm a hard head. And if I can go do what I did, I promise you anybody can, especially because I'm old school, you know. But recovery is a rebirth, is what I call it. I had a rebirth in my 50s. Yeah. That's exciting shit right there. Yeah. And what I was doing before was slowly killing myself while I was in my disease.
Yeah. How does it play out in your love relationships?
Funny you mentioned that, because like I mentioned earlier, I have not had a relationship since my last divorce. I've been divorced 3 times. I think you're one, right?
I'm one.
Okay, yeah, I beat you. So, and didn't they 3 strikes, you're out?
I would never get married again. That's where I'm at right now.
I have no problem with loving you and marrying you. I just have to figure that one out.
I like monogamy.
Yeah, and then there was that. Yeah. I didn't realize that I had taken that whole element of my life and put it on pause because my sobriety was so damn important. And I just had this feeling, and I was told that if you start mixing dating and all that into it too early, it can actually inadvertently create a relapse. And because love is such a powerful emotion. And you know, with addiction, you can literally, like I said, it can all of a sudden, you know, become obsessive over somebody and all that. So I was told not to bother.
But did your husbands
No, that was before
No?
I was active in my disease with all
Okay, so
3
they
of
didn't.
them.
Okay, so they didn't know. So they didn't need to be
Now,
helpful.
can we blame my divorces on my addiction? Sure, I'll take responsibility for that. But at the same time, I will say this, and I'm not going to badmouth my ex-husbands or
Yes.
anybody I've dated.
Okay.
We just weren't right for each other.
Yeah.
You know, and it didn't help that I was active in my disease. Let's
Yeah.
just say that.
Yeah.
They're all, I'm not sure where they're at, but actually some of the guys I dated are married and all that.
Yeah.
And they're having very high functioning relationships. I've never had that.
High
So
functioning
high
relationships.
functioning relationships where you actually have conversations
Yeah.
versus fighting.
Yeah.
You understand it's okay to disagree, but you know, flesh that out. What does that look like? Not freak out because they didn't text you. You haven't heard from them in 2 days.
Yes.
That one
Yes.
just drives me crazy.
Yes.
Don't ghost me.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
it brings up a lot of life
Yes.
stuff.
Yes.
So I haven't dated since I've been sober. So I'm excited to experience what most people I think probably have
Yeah.
experienced, which is a high functioning relationship.
So, do have a question about the non-dating, but before that, can you think of, so a person like me, if I had a relative, a son, a husband, or whoever, for the person that may not have a struggle with an addiction, let's just take alcoholism.
Mhm.
If okay, so I heard, like, when you see if somebody passes out drunk, they say, but I want you to tell me if this is wrong or right. Like, what do we do? Are we supposed to pick them up and get them in bed, or are you supposed to leave them there? Like, what is the family supposed to do if they ask for money
Mm,
to buy this, to do this, or
yeah.
whatever? You know what it is. Are you supposed to give it to them? Are we not? Like, what? Like, those are my two major questions. Like,
Yeah.
what are you really supposed to be doing to be supportive?
Yeah, that's a great question because actually one thing I started this new podcast. It's not aired yet, and I'm going to have you on. But it's about talking about all the levels because
Yeah.
when you have someone who has a disease in
Yeah.
your family, the family's diseased.
Okay.
It's internal family systems.
Okay.
Everyone takes on a role
Right.
with the
Okay.
addict, you know. So when the addict changes, generally speaking, it's really difficult when their environment does not, and that's what usually happens.
I
So
think they tell addicts don't go back to that environment. Is that correct?
sometimes, yeah, it's too
Well,
difficult.
maybe with drugs. I had a
Or
brother-in-law that
alcohol. It can be
yeah.
really tough because it's all very individual, very
Mhm.
subjective,
Oh, yeah.
but it really depends. You kind of are asked quietly to look at yourself when somebody around you gets sober because all of a sudden you start to look at your part in that, right?
Oh, yes,
And
yes,
a lot of people don't want to do that. They're like, no, you just need to get your ass sober or
Right.
stop using your drugs, but I'm fine over here because I'm not the problem. I'm not saying they are the problem,
Right.
but there's a shifting that happens.
Right.
And when one shifts, if everyone doesn't shift as well, it can create turbulence,
Right.
and that can be really difficult. And
I
then
could see that.
and then the addict or the person who's no longer active in their disease
Yes.
in recovery
Yes.
feels once again alone, once again alienated, once again
Yes.
not in harmony with the family, once again, but for different reasons now, right?
Right.
So,
Especially if the person, okay, I don't have all these terms correct. If somebody comes home, in the middle of recovery, they have made changes. So
Yeah.
if we're still stuck and thinking like we got to constantly check on you or
Yeah.
and if we haven't changed, there's no way we could really be helpful and supportive in that person's recovery. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, if we're still treating you like you that
Yeah.
same addict and you're not in recovery,
Yeah.
we're probably not being supportive. Right?
It's difficult, and you're absolutely right. Because what happens is that when Kathleen taught me something that was beautiful. When
Yeah.
you're active in your disease, you are the identified problem in your family.
Mhm. Okay.
When you get into recovery,
Right.
you become the identified possibility.
Oh,
Isn't that beautiful? And it's true. The possibilities are endless once you decide, I'm not going to have my addict run my life anymore. I'm not doing it. And I'm going to now go into this with this rebirth, with this new strength and love and compassion for people and all this stuff. And then those around you start to go, what the hell happened to her? And they start to look at their own lives a little differently.
Mhm.
And that's just, and then they have to find another way to support you. Because where they were supporting you before was like, for instance, calling you drunken asshole. They may have thought that was helpful. It's not.
Yeah.
You meth head, not
Yes.
helpful.
Yes.
They're yelling at someone with a disease.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, yes. Yes.
And then if you're the caretaker, say,
Mhm.
and that person comes back on, I'm on this thing. I have these sober people who are helping me, and I'm discovering all these things about myself. That person no longer feels needed, right?
Mhm.
Then there's a shift there, and that
Mhm.
can be a loss for that person, and there can be a reaction to that.
Mhm.
But I think to answer your question, how you support somebody who's active in their disease, I always say this. I think back of what somebody could have said to me,
Okay.
which was this: I can see you're really struggling, DeDee. Now remember, take all those words out. Those words are not helpful.
Okay.
You're an addict, you're this, you're
Yes.
that,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Oh, I can see you're really struggling.
I can
Okay.
see you're really struggling.
Mhm.
And I just want to let you know I love you. And if you
Mm.
ever are interested or want to maybe seek some help, I'm here for
Mhm.
you. And that's it.
Mm.
And walk away. That's hard.
Yeah.
You let them know you love them. You let
Right.
them know you see that they're
Something's going on.
struggling, yeah.
Mhm.
But that when they're ready, when you are
Right.
ready, I'm here
Right.
for you to try to help you find help.
Yeah.
And that's it. I can't help you,
Right.
but I can help you find help.
Right.
Right. And then that's it. And then the person, I'm telling you, you sit there with that,
Mhm.
woo, you just basically handed them a lot to think
Yeah.
about versus because when you're combative or attacking,
Yeah.
then we just the addict in us just gets
Yeah.
aggressive and defiant, and
Yeah.
we'll tell you all go to hell. It's
Yes.
just not helpful. But if you can almost like
Yes.
kill them with love and compassion,
Right.
it's hard though.
Right.
When you
I bet it is hard, especially after you spent so many months or weeks or maybe even years
yeah,
in that space as a caretaker or whatever,
yeah,
like that person. Um, I, I I can see why. I can see how your language or your conversation is not sounding so loving because I
yeah,
think you. I would imagine that person is just so
frustrated.
frustrated.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And so, but I've never heard it put like that, just that simply. I can see you're struggling. And I think just,
I think the key word in there is I
yeah,
love you, and when you're ready,
okay.
I'm here to help you find another way.
Okay.
When
So now
because
while
yeah.
while we're waiting for them to get ready,
Mhm.
if they pass out, are we
Yeah.
supposed to pick them up? And if they ask us for money, are we supposed to give it to them knowing like we may think we know they're
Yeah.
going to go buy drugs or go whatever they do? Are you supposed to do that? Or as part of loving them saying, I'm going to leave you there, which
Yeah.
doesn't sound very loving to me, but I know hard love or whatever.
Mhm.
Or no, I'm not. And then if I don't give you the money, then you're gonna be on the street. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm
That
making things
yes.
up in my head. So
That's yeah.
what does recovery tell a family? Like, what are we supposed to do if we have
Well,
this?
that's a great question. I'm not sure completely, but
Yes.
I do know that if they've been drinking,
Yeah.
I would imagine
Yeah.
because a lot of people die from alcoholism because they choke on their vomit.
Oh my
They're
gosh.
so
Okay.
drunk that
Yes.
they don't wake up, they throw up in their sleep and they're
Oh.
flat. And they choke on their vomit. I mean, people don't know that. So if someone
Oh.
drank too much, I
Okay.
would
Okay.
imagine,
You need to.
well, I'd prop him
Yeah.
up.
Yes. Yes.
Damn, I
Yes.
mean,
Yeah.
come on, he's laying flat on his back, and you know he's going to
Yes.
throw up.
Yes.
Because
Okay.
often,
Oh.
so I'd prop his ass
Okay.
up
Yes. At
and maybe put
least.
some pillows around so he doesn't
Okay.
fall off the couch or wherever he's, or on the
Okay.
bed. Definitely put him at an angle.
Okay.
So if he
Okay.
throws up, hopefully the throw up comes
Yes.
up and out and
Yes.
not back down. If
Yes.
that's
Okay.
shocking. I had no idea that too.
Yeah.
The money
Oh.
for the drugs, that's a hard call because you're absolutely right. That's a hard one because you're right. Then they're gonna like, well, then F you, I'll just go somewhere
Right.
else. I'll just go start selling my
Right.
body out. And
Exactly.
because of you now, I'm
Exactly.
out
I'll go
walking the
rob.
streets. And then
Yes.
you feel like yeah.
Yes.
There's a couple different theories on that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You don't know. You don't
I
know.
really don't know,
Yeah.
but I know that my older son went through a phase
Yes.
last year
Yes.
where he was, drinking and smoking dope and all that. And
Yeah.
he's like 20. And it was really hard. I'm sitting there sober and I thought, oh my God, here we go.
Mhm.
And I
Did he
immediately,
ever blame you? Like, well, I watched you drink and you were fine. Or did he never, you know what I mean? Like, did he try to
yeah,
put it on you ever?
he never did actually.
Oh, good.
But he also lost his friend who was like a son to me,
Oh,
to fentanyl. Not a year into my
oh.
sobriety, we
Out
buried.
here?
Yep, yep.
Oh,
Braxton, my son, did the eulogy,
yeah.
and he even put dirt
Oh.
on his grave. Carried his friend in a
Mm,
casket.
mm,
It was devastating for
mhm,
me and him, and then his sisters. Also, I don't believe in
mhm.
dying. They left their earth bodies not a month later. Same thing,
Okay.
fentanyl. So this
Yeah.
whole family just it was just so sad.
Oh.
And my son just flipped out.
I'm sure.
And I was told to stay in your lane, DeDee, stay in your lane and show him what sobriety looks like.
Yes.
And then it took a while, but then all of a sudden, about a year later, I think his unprocessed grief,
Yeah.
and everyone's, pot's legal now. I'm like, yeah, but,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then the drinking and all that. I was told, you're going to have to just let him go through this. There's nothing you can do. And I did the same thing. I said, Braxton, I love you.
Yes.
I love you. And if you ever need,
Yeah.
when you're ready and you need
Yeah.
help, because I'm not an alcoholic like you. I said, I'm not saying that you are,
Yes.
sweetheart. I'm just saying you could easily be going through a phase.
Right.
Because you're 20. I get it. I went
Right.
through a phase. I just never got out of my phase. My friends got out of their phase,
Yeah.
which shows the difference
Yes.
between me and them.
Yes.
Right? And some of my friends didn't make it either. They're no
Yes.
longer with us.
Oh.
So it's hard to tell with this new generation. Are they going
Yes.
through a stage? Come on, when you're young, you're
Right.
kind of like, steal mama's
Right.
vodka. She's,
Right.
she's passed out. She don't know. Get her cigarettes,
Yes.
all that. So I
But
just
don't
said,
you think that they have it way worse than we do?
yes.
Like,
Yes.
were people mixing? I don't know. I
Well,
think they have it way worse.
The pot now is also a lot stronger and harder. I mean, I remember I was on the beach in Orange County.
Yeah.
I was trying to hit this
Yeah.
pot, and it was so weak I had to take like 3 hits before I even got a little dizzy. And I was like really young, like 16, so I should have just gotten higher than a kite. I've seen my friends take one
Yeah.
hit and their eyes are rolling back in their head. And I'm like, what the hell? And they said, oh, the stuff now is like, I think chronic or whatever. I don't know. But my son, I saw him one night and I was like, oh my God. And it broke my heart. But I stayed in my lane.
Yes.
I
Which
made
is
it
hard as a mother.
but I made it clear, you're not using it in my house.
Oh,
I love
okay.
you. You're not
Okay.
going to, and if I find any of your shit in my house, I will throw it away. I throw
Yes.
my rehab bag.
Yes.
Breathe Life Healing Center, my
Yes.
rehab bag he had borrowed. And I saw it out in the street. I opened it. And there's a big thing of tequila and a big bong and a big fatty in there.
In your rehab bag?
Yeah. And I said, dude, man, no class. And you're stupid as hell. You left it in the street. You're so stupid that you left it in the street. I found it. I took
Yes.
that bag and went up the street and threw it in somebody else's trash can so he couldn't go in the trash
Right.
can.
Oh, yes.
And I never
yes.
said anything. He was ordering shit at the house. I'd intercept it and throw it
Yes.
away.
Uh-huh.
Every time he tried shit,
Yes.
I never said a word. My house, my rule,
Right.
I threw shit away.
Right.
And told him not in my house, but I love you, but not in
Right.
my house.
Right.
So he would go to his friends, and after a while, I think got tired of that.
Said it's not
And
worth it.
he just kept coming home, I think,
Yeah.
feeling really bad, watching
Yeah.
me give to others, help others,
Yeah.
love,
Yeah.
and just what recovery looks like.
Yeah.
And I think after a while, he was like, oh my God, what am I doing? And
Yeah.
now he's not doing anything on his
Yes.
own
Terms.
on his own terms.
Yeah.
And he talks to me about it, and he goes, yeah, Mom, I haven't done anything, in like 6 months. I go, oh, honey, that's fantastic. He doesn't use the word addiction.
Yes. Okay.
And I said, I don't care if you
Yeah.
call it lollipop,
Right.
whatever,
Right.
you don't have
Right.
to, the names,
Right.
a lot of people don't want to be titled,
right.
or
Right.
tacked with a name.
Right.
I totally understand that.
Yes.
I just use it because it's a quick way to refer to a group of
Mhm.
people who are still struggling out there,
Yeah.
and those who are in recovery to know
Right.
that, hey man, I'm with you.
Yes.
Let's show them the path. Let's show
Yes.
people the way. Yeah.
Wow. I think I'm learning a lot from this.
Oh,
I'm so
good.
glad you're here. Like really. So okay, so you're clean or sober, living out loud. Wait, is that what it says? Sober out loud. Wait, was it?
Yeah, all that work.
Recovery
Yeah,
out loud.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, recovering out loud. Yeah.
So you are now in a place where you are open to
Mhm.
dating, right?
I'm joking.
Don't
Oh my
joke.
God. Oh, I'm totally open. I'm still
You
a
didn't see
little
any cute guys in rehab? I read stories all the time, like on TMZ, that people are meeting people
Oh yeah.
in rehab.
Oh, there was one hot guy in rehab. He very cute. Yeah, but then he
Okay.
he was sleeping with
We-
everybody in there, so
Oh,
that wasn't
oh,
gonna happen.
oh,
But he's cute.
gosh.
I thought even in my rehab state, I thought,
Yes.
DeDee. So one of the things, like I said, I had to get my shit together. I had
Yeah.
to get my shit together. I really had to. And what I call it is getting my sober legs.
Okay.
Because I want to be able to go on a date. And if he's a normie,
Yeah.
where he has like a beer
Yeah.
or something, I want to be okay with that,
Yes.
and not be tempted, or if he smokes cigarettes.
Right.
Actually, cigarettes are really hard. I haven't smoked in that.
So you gave up cigarettes too.
A year after I gave up drinking, yeah. Because it all of a sudden didn't make sense. I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to die of alcoholism, but I'm going to kill myself with lung cancer. But I had to tackle one evil at a time.
Okay.
I highly recommend
Yeah, I
that.
was gonna say,
Yeah.
I think that's probably the best way to. Okay, I don't know anything about anything, and I'm not a doctor, and I've never suffered from this, but I would think that would be best
Mhm.
is to deal with one thing at a
For
time.
me,
But
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, because then it was whack-a-mole.
Yeah.
So I went from being a smoker to then chain smoking. That's why you see all the people outside AA, they're out
Oh.
there smoking their brains out because it is a whack-a-mole, but you know it's whack-a-mole.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, if you're not using your DOC, your drug of choice,
Okay.
but you're now smoking, it's not great, but at least you're not going to lose your job or lose your family or whatever if you're
Okay.
smoking
Yes.
cigarettes,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Yes.
So you're transferring it to a less evil.
Yeah.
That eventually you can tackle that. But let's get at least the thing you're
One we're
addicted
most
to.
concerned about. Yeah.
Yeah, that's affecting your life in a
Right.
really toxic way.
Right.
Let's handle that beast first.
Right.
Yeah. And some people like transfer it to food or working out.
Yes.
And then they found themselves I did that for a minute where I was like working out. I couldn't stop working out. I was just addicted to the natural dopamine and
Yes.
all that stuff
Yes.
that the produce that makes you
Yes.
high.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was like a
you are in
lunatic.
great shape. Is that why?
Well, now I'm not. Big Sky was
No.
canceled,
Oh,
so
no,
I'm
but you're
eating
still in great
carbs.
shape. You're still in great shape. You're still in
Thank
great
you.
shape.
Thank you.
So
Well, for 59, not too bad.
yeah. Okay. So then, okay, when you do date, or like, I would imagine because you come across, honestly, super fun, like a real fun,
Thank you.
open, honest vibe to you. So, are you? If it comes up, do you say, yeah, like I mean, I don't know, I'm sober out loud.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
that's
Like,
the first thing they're going to hear across the room. On Big Sky, I
oh,
literally be like, "Hey, how you doing? I'm DeDee Pfeiffer. I play Denise, and I'm sober all 5 years. How you doing?" And they're like, "Well, hello, nice to meet you too." And they're like, "What the hell is that about?" I'm like, "I just want to get it out there."
yes.
And guess what
Oh,
happened? By the way, I had
why?
people come over to me and whisper, other crew members, "Hey, by
Yes.
the way, I'm sober too. I have like 35 years."
Oh,
And
really?
you know, I'd say, "Why are you whispering?"
Oh,
And they
because they're
go,
not out loud.
but they're like, "I don't know why." I
Mm,
said, "Think about it.
mhm.
35 years? You need to be loud and proud about that." I'm not saying you don't have to be like really loud like
Right.
me and
Right.
and design a podcast
Right.
around it. But wow, you inspire me. I need to
Right.
know that because I'm
Right.
over here a newbie at this.
Right.
And you're over there just 35
Oh,
years. I
yeah.
haven't done anything for 35
Yeah.
years consistently. Well,
Yes.
I guess back in the day I would be drinking and smoking. So but yeah, a lot of people still are like, I don't, as if like somebody's going to judge them. I'm like,
Yeah.
why would they judge you? That is like one of the most amazing things to do. Because this is what somebody said to me, and I love this. Next time
Mhm.
you go judge an addict, put your phone down for 24 hours.
I can't.
Yeah, there you go. Put it down for 24
I
hours
really can't.
and be mindful of all the times you think about your phone.
Mhm.
That's what it's like to be an addict,
Okay.
right?
I got it.
That's
Because I
how.
can't.
So to be able to conquer that
Yeah.
is huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
huge.
just want to get to a place where when I wake up, the first thing I'm not doing is checking the phone. I'm not even there yet. I'm checking the phone and I'm like, I
Yeah.
need to be taking this time to just be thankful. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like I got to check all these messages and everything on
I
the
had to go all
phone.
the way to Colombia and do a Dr. Joe Dispenza retreat for 7 days with 1,600 people from 30 different
Wow.
countries to learn how to leave one's body, what they're doing with ayahuasca, all that.
Oh, I've heard of ayahuasca.
Yeah, that you leave your body, like your
He had
soul.
1,600 people leaving their body at the same time?
Well, whoever committed to this kind of intense meditation,
Yeah.
it's not just checking out. It's actually really, yeah. And yeah, no, the woman next to me said she felt me leave my body. In
What?
Spanish. She didn't even
Yeah.
speak English.
Oh.
Yeah, and she said she had a translator, and I said, "Really?" And I did. It was
It just seems
amazing.
really.
But that helped me when I came back. I carried all that back with me. And one of the things I do try,
Yeah.
which is I need this phone. I will get to it. I need to lay there in the morning and roll over and talk to my doggy because I have
Yeah.
huge dogs in my bed, which
Okay.
is probably another reason why I'm not having sex.
Okay.
I have a lot of
I would be
animals.
going crazy. I don't know how you're doing it. 5 years. I mean,
Well,
God
I've
love
been
you. You got a
busy
rose.
getting
You
my
must
ass
have
together.
you have a rose.
I have a what?
Do you have a rose?
A rose?
Yeah, like a toy. A rose. The rose toy. You don't know what I'm talking about? If I send
ROSE?
ROSE. It's like this toy. It's a vibrator.
Oh, a vibrator.
And
I
it
was
looks like a
visually in
rose.
like, what were
I
you doing wrong?
usually tell people that are single, do not use it because no one will ever like
I
measure
don't
up to
use
that.
toys. I'll be honest with you, and for that reason, because I want when next time I get
Yeah.
my claws on a guy,
Yeah.
I want to be able to feel all of the beautifulness of him,
Okay,
and
then yeah,
I
you
think
need
that
to.
my body would get real used to a toy. So I don't
Yeah.
use toys.
Okay, so I don't
Yeah.
use toys either. I have used a rose before, and then I used it. It was very great. It was
It was very great.
it was a great experience. But what I realized is no one is going to be able to follow this fucking rose, right?
Yeah.
So I had to let
And
the
who
rose
goes? And
go.
then I
Yeah.
mean,
But
no
if
one's.
you were to say to me, I don't care. I'm never really looking. I'm not in the market. I would pay to
Oh
send
yeah,
one
if
to
I
you
really wanted to
because I want
just
you to have that experience. But really, are you like 5 years? Are you worried? Are you nervous?
Yeah. Because I'm
Really?
not used to like being
Oh,
buzzed
you
or
might be
drunk.
so cute
I
the
would have
first
like
time.
I'd have a glass of wine at least, if not 2 or
Yeah.
3 before I go on a date, and then have more there just to get that nervousness
No, we
out.
can't
So
have wine. We sober.
before, that's what I would do.
Well,
And
now.
now, like, I'd be
Well,
having coffee and pounding chocolate and being like, "Oh my God." And, this is where a lot of my work has been, which is,
yes.
wow, Dr. Joe said something beautiful. He said, "Listen, when you talk shit about your body's listening. Your body is alive. Your body is listening
Yes.
to you." And I was sitting there going, "Oh
Well,
my
your body looks
God, he's
good. Are you telling your
right."
body you look good? You should tell
Well,
your
I
body
have
you look
body
good.
dysmorphia from being an actor back in the day when you had to be really, really, really skinny,
You
and I
still
was
have that today?
a little bit, yeah, definitely, and
Really?
I work on it where I
Yeah.
go, "Okay, I love that now on TV and in films and in life, we're embracing full figures and curves and all that." I still have that old 80s, 90, gotta be skinny, skinny, starve
Yeah.
thing, and, I had something beautiful happen. My
Okay, tell
17-year-old
me.
17 and 20-year-old boys, young men. My 17-year-old who's like, he's just like, "Mom, I'm not going to the crazy train with you with the paranormal. I'm not." I'm just like, "Whatever." Um,
You know, black people don't fool with ghosts.
I know.
We're afraid.
My friends, my
We do
friends,
not fool with ghosts.
my friends, they're like, "No, DeDee."
Uh-uh.
And their eyes get really big. I said, "No, no, no, honey, it's okay." And they're like, "No, I'm
Yeah.
not doing that with you."
Uh-uh.
So walked in and I said, "I'm not wearing my thing around my waist." And I had to go to this thing and I said,
Yeah.
"My thighs, I feel like, I don't know, should I wear my thing around my waist? Because
Yeah.
I think it covers my thighs." And he said, "Mom, we like that look." He's the Gen X
Oh,
group, or
yeah.
Gen Z, sorry.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh," he checked my ass. I said,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay, thank you.
Yeah. Did you
Thank
say, well,
you."
where are my booty shorts
So
at?
now back in the day, I would have said, "What do you mean, what look? Like this full,
Oh,
like big thigh
oh.
look?" I would
That's
have
how
gone
you
there, but I really
yes.
was listened to him, and then she said it with love, such honesty, and I thought, I love this new generation.
Yes.
Wow. And
Yes.
I need to get on board with that. And
Yes.
that little bit of body dysmorphia that's still hanging on there's my work.
Yeah.
And then when Joe said, "Your body listens to you," I thought my body was kind of like a child. And would you ever say something mean like that to a
Yeah.
child? No. But that's what I started to
That's
do with my own
interesting.
body.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to having a
Well, I
date.
tell you're gonna be a fun date. Okay, what would you do? If you could do anything. Oh, wait, let me just say this first because we are just talking about body morphia. I think that regardless of a person's size, and I tell women, like in my podcast situation, all the time, I don't care if you're 400 pounds, I don't care if you're 98 pounds or somewhere in between. Men like confidence,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So if you walk in a room like you belong and like, this is what it is, okay? Then they are very accepting. And in terms of like sex, by the time you get that close to having sex,
Yeah.
they don't give a fuck. They really don't.
It's true.
They just don't. You know what I mean? Now they may think about it after, but at that moment, everybody's about to get off. So
Yeah.
I just think you really got to own, like there are, I mean, women that are really large and the confidence that they appear to have
Yeah.
is crazy. And I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. So,
I have to say, when I see women like that, I'm so inspired.
yeah.
And what's so crazy, it's this double standard. I think that's beautiful for everyone else, but like the buck stops here.
Yeah.
And when my son checked me, I was like, wow, what a gift, because
Yeah.
it's like, wow, it's okay for everyone else, but not me.
Right.
That is, again, that's that old thinking that I have to check. It's that
Yes.
old narrative. That's
Yeah.
old. I talk about this on my podcast. That's
Yes.
old. It's back there,
Yes.
So I am excited about dating. I'm an odd one though, because I have so many things that I like. It's like,
what would be your if he's what would be the perfect first date?
well, he has to love animals.
Okay.
He has to love Mother Earth. He's got to be earthy.
What does that mean?
Well,
Is he
like I
using
live on a dirt
deodorant?
road.
What?
I live off of a dirt road.
Okay.
So if
Is he
he's like
using deodorant? Like you want one of these real, like, is he bathing every day? What does that mean? What is earthy? I don't ever really understand earthy.
not afraid to pick up a hammer, get his knees in the dirt and fix something.
Okay.
Not afraid to go chase my dog who may have got out up a mountain and get like cattails all in his, I
Okay,
want the guy who
physically
goes,
fit.
oh
Okay,
my
you're
God.
gonna have to be physically fit to date DeDee. Okay, because
Well,
you may
yeah,
be doing
'cause
a lot of stuff.
I do circles around a lot of the
Yeah.
guys that I've dated.
I bet you do.
So I generally date younger guys. I don't mean to.
Oh, how young? What's your youngest? What's your age bracket?
Well,
or
it
age-
hasn't worked for me because I've divorced 3 times. Okay, my first husband was 10 years younger.
Okay,
The
that's not bad.
second husband, who had the boys with both my boys, 8 years younger. So I was
Okay.
going in the right direction.
Yeah.
And then my last husband was 20 years younger. I
Ooh.
got confused.
Yes.
I'm dyslexic. I went in the wrong direction. No, actually, he I'll be really honest and transparent. I still hold a torch for him. I love him very much. I would
Really?
never have divorced him if it wasn't the relationship was it wasn't healthy. I'll just say
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
So, and I believe it or not, it had nothing to do with his age. It had
Yeah.
a lot to do with other things.
Yeah.
But I think that's another reason why it's taken me a minute to like be okay with dating
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
I don't want to be hurt like anybody else.
Yeah.
But I'm also not afraid to get hurt, and I'll tell
Yeah.
you why. What
Okay,
I've gone
why?
through so far would get
Yeah.
my ass sober and going from 10 years being out of the industry,
Yeah.
getting all these degrees with 2 kids in tow, 10 years, bringing them to tutoring sessions with me because I didn't know how to write a thesis statement. I didn't know what algebra was.
Yes.
I was doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, get this job to get
Yes.
to be invited back to the industry.
Yes.
And now I'm trying to bridge the two together. I kind of feel like, if I get hurt, it's just gonna be like, ouch, moving on.
Yeah.
But I thought, how about this? Let's just get it right. Let's just
Right.
not even invest your heart into somebody who's not worthy. And I say worthy meaning, do you know how to take care of my heart? I'll take care of yours.
Yeah.
Are you a kind person? Do you care
Mhm.
about mankind?
Mhm.
Do you care about at least some of the things that I care about?
Mhm.
But like a man.
Mhm.
But I also want you to be able to put a tux on. We're gonna go do a red
Right.
carpet.
Right.
I want him
Does
just
he have to be a good lover?
yeah, oh, absolutely.
Okay.
But I'll take care of that. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I'm a good teacher in bed.
Okay, I heard that.
I mean, yeah, the bed for me is a playground.
Yes.
You set your boundaries and
Yes.
then you just
Yes.
have fun.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it's important to be teacher and student.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a teacher and student. You gotta-
really? I
oh
don't want
yeah.
to be teacher. I'm over that.
I will say it would be
I mean,
nice
I can
not
clearly
to.
tell somebody where they need to be, but I don't know if
Yeah.
I really want to be a teacher. And you know what I think else? I also think that all of us, women and men, when they're coming out of relationships or as you're getting older, I think you need a refresher, right?
Yes.
So you cannot assume that you still know how, really talking about oral sex, like you know that you're going to know how to please this woman. Listen, I know some people have porn addictions, but I think you need to go to lesbian porn, watch how to go down on somebody, and then show up, okay? Because I think sometimes I know how. No, you don't. You don't know how,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying this to you. But the same thing, I think that women, now I don't know about the church ladies, but women that are not opposed to just watching one porn in your life need to go and watch a porn so they can learn how to give proper head.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can't assume like, I did it 45 years ago. I know how to do it.
Exactly.
No, bitch, you don't. Okay? You don't know how to do it, right?
Yeah.
So you just need just a quick little refresher and, to get back,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Because you will learn some things.
Yeah.
I think that, I don't know if they knew or people are just doing them now or whatever, but I'm just saying,
I agree.
you
I went to many strip joints
yeah.
and watched porn with my boyfriends and some husbands.
Yes.
Because it was a really sexy, hot thing to do
Yes.
together. And I'd go, "Ooh, let's try that,"
Yes.
and I also agree with you. When everybody,
Yes.
not every every
Yes.
person's body
Yes.
is different.
Yes.
So if you go, okay, let's go there.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go down on me and you think
Yes.
up and down is gonna do it, it
Right.
ain't never gonna happen because
Right.
I'm an East and West girl, not North
Right.
and South girl.
Right.
Now here's something else. You know, it's really sexy
What?
talking about it
Oh,
before
I
they
love to
even
be talked to.
touch you.
I
And
love
you
to be
just say,
talked
"Are
to.
you North and South or East and West?" And you'll give him some guidance, and
Yes.
it's flirty and fun. And by the time he does get a hold of you, he's
Yes.
just gonna lose his shit, and vice versa. It's like, "Do you like hands, honey? Or
Yes.
you want it slappy?"
Yes.
And, you know,
Oh,
you
yes.
just
Yes.
turn him
Okay.
on by just
Well,
talking about
I
it.
cannot wait for this show to be over. I'm gonna have to go
Oh.
call somebody. Okay.
Oh, you have someone. Well, do you have some friends for me? Not friends, just one.
Wait a minute.
Wait,
I
just
ain't
one.
got the kind of friends that Michelle Pfeiffer and David E. Kelly have. I mean, oh my gosh.
Well, they're useless. They just never leave the house. They're like,
I just
and they're
told
not
somebody.
my pimps. Hi, would you please come date my
No,
sister
but
DeDee?
wait a minute. It's a strike now. Aren't all of the writers? You know, writers to me look like they may make a good lover.
I think so. Yeah. Well, I don't
So
know
are
if
you
David
going-
is. I
Are
mean,
you
my
gonna
sister
go
seems
down to the strike? What do you call it? The
the
picketing?
picket line.
I think today's a good day for you.
Well,
Like,
I
you
do have
look
my makeup on
cute.
today, so
Well, you
today would
just
be a
look
good
cute.
day.
I don't know.
Usually,
You know, hey, hey.
I'll go get my friend Tamla. We'll go down there.
Yeah, just go down and let's see. You know what I mean? We got to figure out the best time of day though. So maybe today's a drive-by. Are they here between 5 and 7? No. Okay. You know what I mean? So we got to figure out what time it is the most crowded.
I forgot that I actually. Oh, wait a minute. I'm totally lying. I flirted with somebody.
Yeah.
2 seasons ago, and it didn't get.
2
I
seasons.
met him once. We
Yeah.
switched numbers, and we started flirting via text, which
Yeah.
is so sexy because
Yeah.
I'm a really good flirt.
Yeah.
Like I know
Yes.
how to
I
get.
get bored.
Oh, I keep it really hot and
I
really
got like
sexy.
4 good ones and then I'm fucking
For good.
bored. 4 good texts and I'm bored.
Well, this is also COVID, so I
So
learned. Yeah, I was already good before that, but then COVID really sharpened my game, and we flirted, and then all of a sudden he just, when it came down to like, hey man, we're going to be in the same
Yes.
city, and
Yeah.
oh my god, I'm at this
Yeah.
hotel, and da da da, and we COVID tested all that. He just dropped the ball and got scared and ghosted me. I never heard from him again, except for like maybe a year later. He said, "Hey, I just want to let you know I still think about you." And I was like, "What is that? Come on, man." So
Yeah.
basically, it
No,
got me
you should have
hot,
said, "Well,
horny,
keep
blue balled. He
thinking."
blue balled me. I got blue balled. I don't even have balls, which is really fucked up. I'm sorry, but if I had them, they were blue, and I was like, "Wow, whoa." So honestly, I got a little turned off, and I
Yes.
talked to some of my friends. They're like, "Oh my god, that's happening a lot lately. They're just into like the flirting and to see if you take the bait, and then they're gone." And I thought, well, that's just skank, you know?
Oh.
So I thought, well, that was a turn off.
Yes.
So I kind of just went back to my own lane.
Yeah.
That was a fluke though, because
Are you on the apps?
no, I actually thought about going on one of those dating things. I said to my sons, hey, I'm going to date one day. And they're like, yeah, and what's your point? I said, no, seriously, like I'm not going to be around all the time. And they're like, yeah, and what's your point? I was like, okay, whatever. Like you might care that I'm not around to make your damn breakfast and your lunch and your dinner. They're like, we're fine, Mom. We know how to make a pizza. Oh, wow. Love. So I said, do you think I should go on one of those apps? They're like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
And
I'm
I
not
said,
on an app either. But some people find success.
yeah.
Yeah. I heard Raya is not, it's kind of.
Dude, they put me on a waiting list.
Raya did?
Raya is the one where the celebrities go. So I
Yes.
would, because this way I
I
wouldn't.
heard it's so dry though.
Yeah. My friend, actually, I won't say it because I'm going to bust her
Yeah.
out. She said, oh, honey, it's $20 a month and there's nobody on there.
Yeah.
And they said, I'm not going to be rude. It was a group of men. She said, I personally would not be interested in because she knows me. I'm spicy as
Oh,
hell.
yes,
And they
yes.
need to keep up. So she just said, these are not for you. And I was
I
like,
heard
well,
Hinge is pretty good.
Hinge?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, Hinge is the one where it's all like everything flies, right?
I don't know about
Where like
that.
bisexual, just everything groups. I think, or there's a name for that one.
I don't know. Grinder? No, I don't
No,
know.
I know. See, yeah,
I think Grinder's a sexual one.
that's the one where you're just going to get hit and run.
Yeah.
I just always too. I thought, I wonder what it would look like if I just like went on eHarmony or something. Like fucking DeDee Pfeiffer's on eHarmony.
Okay, so this is what I think about eHarmony. Okay, so I don't know personally, but this is what I heard. They ask you so many effing questions on eHarmony that they really weed out people that are not serious. Because if you get through the questionnaire,
Yeah.
and then you're paying, I don't know, whatever they charge, it shows a level of seriousness.
Okay. But that wouldn't it make me what do you think it would look like if that I mean, I always think
I think you would
or
be
the
cute
or
on
people wouldn't give a shit if I was on eHarmony. I also don't want someone to date me because of who I'm related to or, because I was Denise on Big Sky or on Falling Down or
I wonder if you're able to use another name. I think my ex used another name on an app. He was on Bumbo. I think he was Trevor. His name is not Trevor.
name is not
His name's not Trevor. Okay.
Don't tell me he did this while you were with him.
Yeah.
Whoa.
But wait, let me tell you how I found out. Is because his phone, all the bills were under my name. Like he paid all of the bills, right? But they were still listed like under my social and stuff. So including one of his phones. And she started texting him. So when we broke up, he still had his phone, but it was under my name. So I switched his phone number, to another phone I had, so I could see what was really going on in case if I needed it for court or whatever.
Yeah.
And yeah. So one of the persons, he was all over the place.
Oh.
He had his friends calling and say, because I called him out on something like a vacation or something. He said, "Man, I got your back. You were with me and my wife." You know what I mean? So I saw all these different conversations.
Oh.
And yeah, so that's how I found out his name was Trevor on Bumbo. But I don't know. So maybe the apps were successful.
I had that happen to me too. I was with somebody and their friends were in there covering. And I think that probably was one of the worst things. It's bad enough that he was doing it to me. But then his friends were in on it to cover him. I was like, wow, it was just like wrong on top of wrong.
Yeah.
Like, wow, and
But okay, so I agree because that was my experience also. And he had friends from all over trying to, this is how you hide your money. This is what you need to do.
God.
And, I mean, all kind of stuff. So, but then I was thinking, if I had a best friend who was cheating, I would maybe say, "Girl, stop." But I wouldn't tell on her. And I would probably lie for her, just to tell the truth. Like, if her husband came to me and said, "Is so-and-so," you know what I mean? I don't think
that's a hard call.
I would turn on my bestie. I just wouldn't. I'd probably be like, "I don't know." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, "I don't know. You think so?" or whatever.
Yeah.
And maybe I would then go to her and say, like, "He knows." But I don't know if I would be like, "Yeah, DeDee's cheating." You know what I mean? I just wouldn't tell my bestie, I don't think.
But what about having a conversation with your bestie saying, "You're putting me in a really fucked up
I would definitely do
position.
that.
I have to look at your husband
I
in
would
the
definitely
eye
do that.
and
Yes.
say, I'm not appreciating this on
Yes.
any level. So you need to get your shit together. Stay with
Right.
him
Right.
and clean it up
Right.
or fucking leave him."
Right.
Because it's like,
Right.
so that's what I always said to every
Right.
guy I date. I said, here's a skinny. Here's what's
Yeah.
going on. Don't even bother cheating.
Yes.
Because you always get find out, and I will find out, and I will
Right.
dump your ass immediately.
Right.
So here's the thing: if you feel like cheating, just break up with me and go do it. Just go do it. Just don't.
Right.
You don't have to make it all messy and
Right.
ugly. Like you don't, and you're not going to get your cake and eat it too.
Right.
So
Right.
don't even try it. And I promise you, I will leave the minute I find out. No
Yes.
conversations. Your shit will be outside.
Yeah.
In a box. You better hope it's not raining.
Yeah.
And because I've done that, and I'm not doing it. Zero tolerance because just leave me.
Yes.
Just leave my ass.
Yes. Yes.
Otherwise it's selfish.
Are you easy to leave? Are you a firecracker? Like really, if a person said, "Listen, I'm not happy," or "I want to cheat," or "I want to do this," and they come to you, is the conversation that I don't want to say normal, but is it that easy? Are you just like, okay?
Oh,
or
I
are you
would
going to be throwing some shit? Or some names are going to be called? Like,
Yeah.
really, how easy
I would
is
cry.
it?
I would be devastated, but I
Yes.
certainly wouldn't hold on to them. No, because
Yes.
that's to me
Okay.
is kind of
Good.
gross.
Yeah.
For me. It's
Yeah.
gross for me because then I mean, it's bad enough that I would be bawling and crying and
Yeah.
all that,
Yeah.
but I would certainly absolutely let them go because I've broken up with people and I know how it feels to be on the other side of that.
Yeah.
And it's hard watching them cry, but it's also a really big move to say, okay, all right, bye-bye,
Right.
bye-bye,
I think that
and then
takes a lot of
just
courage too.
yeah, and it's hard. So
Yeah.
being on both sides of that, I think it makes it so that I mean, yeah, of course, I'm like, "Oh my God, are you sure we can't fix this? I love you,"
Right.
And if they're like, "No, I'm out," then, then that's
I
it.
just don't think, I think when you really get there, like really wanting to date or,
Yeah.
I think there's somebody that's gonna love your crazy.
That's another thing. They're gonna have to love crazy. Like, I
Yeah.
can't have
But
somebody
it's
it's
presenting to me fun.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Not like toxic. It presents fun and lively and all that kind of stuff. So I think he's gonna have fun. I think you're
Yeah.
gonna make him feel like young. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's a young guy though. I think he's more like that 45,
That's cool.
50.
Yeah.
That's, but I think you're gonna make him feel like that 25, 30. You know what I mean? And I think he's gonna have a good time with you.
Well, because I'm having a rebirth, so anyone
Mhm.
who wants to date me is gonna join me on that, and
Yeah.
because this is what I talked about when, I first came in here
Yeah.
off camera. I was saying when you said, "Are you happy?" And I said, "What's so crazy the other day when I was sitting in LA traffic, which
Yeah.
is not always fun, but I was using
Never.
my Joe
Mhm.
Dispenza meditation to go leave myself for a minute so
Yeah.
that I could do something else versus sit there and look at the license plate in front of
Yes.
me and go, can this fucking traffic
Okay.
go?" So I was doing all this meditation working and I realized, oh my God, I don't know, it was like this epiphany. I'm really happy and I'm experiencing real joy for the first time in my life. And there's not
Wow.
a man involved. Have not experienced this kind of happiness and joy
Mhm.
without a man being part of that. So part of me went, well, wait a minute, I'm not sure if I'm in a big rush to have that relationship because I wouldn't want to have that interfere.
Mhm.
And then it dawned on me, oh, that's the answer. They need to be in addition to what I've already got going. It has
Exactly.
to be in addition to
Exactly.
not, you know what I mean? They say fill
Yes.
your hole up.
Yes. Yes.
Well, both holes.
Oh, both.
Well,
Oh,
okay, you can
gee.
fill the hole up.
Wow. Okay. Oh,
Yes,
God, the
hopefully that's the
visual.
goal.
Okay.
But how about the emotional
Yes.
hole? And
Yes.
I fill them all up. But your engineer's over there
You're
going,
funny.
she did not. Yes, she did. My publicist is like, oh, there she goes. Okay. So after one fills all the holes,
Yes.
but I thought they can't fill my emotional hole. I've
Mhm.
already filled that. So it'd be in addition to,
Yeah.
right? And it's almost kind of like you have the I don't know, the stew. Okay, this is gonna be
Yes.
a really bad analogy
No.
already. But
Go
how about be the bread on the side or
Yes.
something in
Right.
addition to?
Right. Right.
No, the chocolate sauce on ice cream. That's what I like.
That's what you want.
Yeah, I already have the ice cream.
Do
I'm
you
good.
really like the chocolate?
Oh, honey, I love it all.
Oh,
Oh, you mean my boyfriends? I've
yeah.
dated pretty much.
Everything?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
where can
Yeah.
all these suitors find you? What's your
Oh, no.
socials?
Not at my front door because I live on dirt road. There's a Rottweiler that will meet you. How about DeDee Pfeiffer official?
Okay.
I do have a few men on there that flirt with me. They're very cute.
Wait, is that on Instagram? Is that
Instagram, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I don't even check I don't think I have Facebook. I have to ask my publicist.
Okay.
And I don't check Twitter.
But do you check the
Elon Musk did
DMs?
he take your check away? Twitter?
No.
Elon took
Oh,
my check away
on what?
on Twitter
I
because
don't know. I would have to ask my publicist
yeah,
because I
no,
don't
he
go to.
took
I
my
don't care
check
about
away
Twitter.
because I didn't have 1 million followers. And you know something?
Oh,
I'm
is that
sorry.
what it
And I was
is?
told
You
not
have
to
have a-
badmouth him, so okay, I'm not going to.
Oh, okay.
How about this? I think it's really uncool to take my check mark away. I earned
Well, I
it.
definitely don't have 1 million followers, so maybe he
Nor
did take
do
it
I,
away.
and I'm totally fine with that because
Yeah.
my followers I have are amazing.
Yeah.
I love my followers. Even sometimes they get a
Oh,
little snarky. I'm
wow.
like,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
but you put hate on my. Oh, but I will say this: if you come onto my social media and you spread any kind of hate, there's a little block button.
Yes.
So I just say, don't bother. I'm just going to block you because my social media is about love and it's not divide and conquer. It's
Yes.
bring us together.
Yes.
It's harmony and love and compassion for each
Okay.
other, and that's what we do on my Instagram.
But you will check your DMs on your Instagram.
Yeah, but I always get nervous. There's this one guy who was really like hot, and he was a doctor from some other state.
Yeah.
And actually, I think he was from another country. Where was he from? I can't remember.
Oh, yeah.
But
You should be afraid if he was from another country. Okay.
I did.
Okay. All right. Because now it's that, and he's like, "Can I send you $55,000 and you
Oh.
put it in your account?" Da, 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 da. But
Oh no.
no.
He was
Okay.
a surgeon in Texas, and I was following him. He was hot, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh, and then he actually started following me. Actually, he followed me first, and I started following him. And there was a little like, hey, how are you? I go, I'm good. How are you? And I was like, oh, I'm flirting with somebody on Instagram. This is crazy. And then he showed a picture of his gun.
Yeah.
And I'm fine. I mean, listen,
It
if you
wasn't
want to
good?
have the right to bear arms, that's cool. Go ahead. But I just think that
Yes.
we need to pull it back a little. But
So-
I'm not sure what that meant.
Yes.
And I wasn't sure why we have to have a selfie with one's gun. And I caught a little
Oh,
turned
not
off.
his penis, the gun?
Not the gun that I would like to meet.
Oh,
but
like
the
a
gun,
real
like a
gun.
45
Oh, I thought you
or
meant the penis. Got it. Sorry.
oh no, that would have been fine with me.
Oh, okay.
You can
My
show me
mind's
that
always
all
on the
day
gun. I'm
long.
sorry. I'm
Hey
sorry.
man, that's
Yeah.
cool. I play peekaboo.
Oh, yeah,
Dude,
that's
I was
kind
in
of weird.
Playboy. Well,
Yeah.
but don't be, something
Wait,
too.
you
Don't be looking at my Playboys. That was before kids, and that ain't right. Like that's like me
you were
looking
in
at your height.
Playboy?
Yeah, cover and a
Oh my gosh.
5-page
Okay,
layout
please invite
with
me
an
back to your
African
show.
American naked man.
Really?
Yeah, that's why you asked me. I was like, excuse me. It was my
Oh,
idea to do
really?
a layout on Playboy with a naked black man because I was on a show called For Your Love,
Yeah.
and it's all about bringing everyone together.
Yeah.
And I thought if I'm going to be showing all my
Yeah.
stuff,
Yeah.
I want to make a point and
Yeah.
make a statement. So I did Playboy 1,000 years ago. Oh, here
I'm
she
gonna have
goes.
to talk to somebody because
Uh-huh.
they didn't have that in the notes that you had did Playboy. We would
Yeah,
have been
and
all over
that's what's so
that.
funny. You asked me if I like chocolate. I'm like,
Yeah.
you have not seen my Playboy. No.
Well, okay, so official DeDee.
DeDee Pfeiffer official.
Okay, DeDee Pfeiffer official. At Instagram is where they can find
Yeah.
you. And we have we didn't get to talk about some other things. Like I know you're involved with advocacy for the homeless and some
Mhm.
other social programs. So next time.
I will come back and you'll have
Okay.
to come on mine.
Okay, I definitely
We'll talk
will.
sex on mine though, can we?
Love it all day.
Like the rose and all that.
All of
I
it.
need to
All
learn
day.
all this stuff.
Yeah, all day.
Yeah.
So you don't have to ask me twice. You don't have to threaten me with
All
a good
right.
time. Thank you so much for watching the Truly Kenya podcast. Thank you so much, DeDee Pfeiffer,
Thank
for
you.
being here. And if you are watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you're listening to it on your favorite podcast platform, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And until next time, bye.